Thank you, Chairman, but I should stress I'm not a coordinator. We do have an expression in Britain called back to basics, and I want to query the whole appropriateness of this meeting here this evening. It was cobbled together really at the very last minute. It's quite obviously an important meeting if you look at the cameramen who are hanging around here not so long ago. And one of the MEPs, Mrs. Thane or Mrs. Theen, sent an email round to all of us bemoaning the fact that she couldn't come here, and particularly as there was supposed to be an AFCO meeting tomorrow morning, and yet that was cancelled, and suddenly this is brought in this evening, and there will be many others like her. And there's another expression we have in Britain: the world is run by those who turn up. And here we see efforts to make it very difficult for people to turn up, and that is a poor way to proceed. And if we stay on this theme of back to basics, as my colleague Mr. Fox said, there hasn't been an EU treaty change, and this was decided 10 years ago. A member state's veto must be respected. And yet what I hear tonight, particularly from Mr. Van Hoverstadt, and I apologise if I haven't got his name quite right, references to all sorts of obscure articles in treaties that can in effect overrule a veto. So why go to the pretence of having a veto in the first place? So what has happened? Up to 26 countries have decided to have an intergovernmental conference on the future of the euro. That is up to them, and it means what it says. Now, it may result in a combination of countries who will vote as a bloc in future in these institutions, and they may even opt to become one single country, because that's really the only way you can save the euro. But that's a matter entirely for them to decide by the MPs in those countries. We are MEPs, we're not MPs. We should not be making any attempt to interfere in their decisions, and nor should the unelected Commission. The MEP's job will be to decide how the EU should react to this intergovernmental conference, etc. The European Court of Justice is supposed to guard the EU treaties, and it should not be used as a referee in discussions amongst other groups. Now, the document under discussion creates a number of questions, and let's just look at a few of those. What provisions of the treaties give authority for the institutions of the EU, for example the ECJ, to be used by organisations which are outside the EU? I mean, maybe Mr. Verhofstadt has got the answer to this. Will the legal brief supporting any conclusion that such use is permissible be given to members of the committee? And if not, why not? If not, is there not a reasonable inference to be drawn from that refusal that such advice does not support the legality of such use? Have all 27 member states been asked for their consent for such use to take place? I don't know, have they? Has any assessment been made of the likely annual cost of the taxpayer of the use of EU institutions under this agreement? And if not, why not? I suggest you're getting way, way ahead of yourselves. This is not what we signed up to, and we really should disband this meeting immediately. Thank you.
There was no draft treaty before the European Council last Thursday and Friday. There was a set of draft conclusions.
So we are in the European Union, and we want to be.